We are back in Newtropic Zoo, and in this episode let's build a modern lush tropical habitat for the greater flamingos. And here we are carrying on the series. This is the new episode of Newtropic Zoo, and if you are new around here, my name's Adam and we're building a zoo, a modern zoo based in the grasslands of Africa, something what I'm really enjoying doing. I'm loving the modern theme what I get to build in. And I hope you are too if you have been following it along. So yeah, and this is what we're doing today. We're building a habitat for the greater flamingo. And what you can see me now is building one modular piece just so I can basically copy and paste it over all around the edge. This is going to be the barrier. This is going to be what separates our guest from our animals. It's obviously going to stop our animals getting out as well. And I got a question recently about creating your own barriers and using null barriers. If you create a barrier like this and you put a null barrier, an in-game null barrier, through your own custom-made barrier, does two things. One thing, you don't have to worry about your animals escaping, no matter like how high it is, as long as those animals can't climb, of course. And secondly, your barrier cannot degrade. It will keep the same grade, so maintenance costs and having a maintenance man is just not necessary for these barriers. So yeah, if that's not like a full-on campaign of why you should use custom barriers and no barriers in Planet Zoo, I don't know what it is. But that's what we're doing. You can see I'm using Archer Man to make sure everything is to scale to our guests, so it just doesn't look all either too big or too small as a barrier. Kind of want it level to like your shoulder width really, don't you? We are going to make it out of mesh and glass, so this little top bit is going to be mesh, what you can see me putting in now, and we've got a glass panel underneath, so it is see-through, so the guests are going to have a wonderful viewing experience into this habitat. And I've nearly done with this modular piece, and just finishing it off with kind of like a black trim around the glass, again giving it that more realistic look. It looks to purpose, doesn't it? It looks like it can actually be built in real life. And like I said, once we've got this one modular piece here, all they have to do is just take it around and just duplicate it and place it all around the edge of where we want this greater flamingo habitat to be. We're going to have another barrier. We're going to have water in this build. I thought it was only right to have water with having greater flamingos. They don't actually need water in the habitat. I thought they did, but they don't. But they're going to have access to water anyway. We're going to keep with the same tropical look, but you can just see me here now, just trying to figure out how I want this to look. And for some weird reason, every time I copied it, it kind of just flickered out and went down automatically. I wasn't doing this. It was a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. I really don't. This is the first time this has ever happened to me as well, by the way. And I was really unsure of what it was doing and why it was doing what it was doing. But a bit of patience, a bit of perseverance, and that's right, it does prevail. I'm just fed up of saying that in my videos. I need some new sayings. I need to think about some new sayings. But anyway, the time of releasing this, it should be around a week, maybe just a week and a half, where the new pack, the Eurasia Animal Pack, has been released. So let me know how that's going on in the comment section below. What animals are your favourite animals? Are you building any habitats for animals? And if you do want to keep in touch with me personally, I have got a Discord, a community Discord, where you can you can communicate with me and ask me any questions, or you need any tips about anything in Planet Zoo, feel free to do so. All my social media links like Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that will be down in the description down below, so you can get in touch that way. Right, so I've kind of like designated her area was going to be our barrier. We're obviously going to dig down and we're going to have water. And we've got a designated area where our main building is going to be. And I absolutely love the hard shelter and the backstage area of this build. So stay tuned for that, because I'm absolutely in love with it. Probably one of the proudest things I've ever built. I don't know why, it just looks really good. With a little trim and with the water added, it came out looking like this. As you can see, everything is now starting to get together. Don't worry about space. The greater flamingo only needs 300 meter squared space per flamingo, I think that is, but we've got more than enough space anyway. It was just time to add a little kind of like base and neaten things up a little bit, and we're just going to do that with the same plaster piece and just follow it along to add a floor to the water. And then this here is going to be our base for where our hard shelter is going to be. And you can see it coming together so quickly. I showed you like that because I played around with a lot of ideas, and that was the easiest way for me to show you. I spent hours trying to figure out this design of this hard shelter, and for the life of me, I just couldn't get it. And I thought, right, I'll show most of me creating it, but not every single aspect. So at the start, you would have seen it skip a little bit there. But what I did here is we're just layering it with the conservation pieces. We're going to recolor them to a dark grey as well, so it stays in the same colour scheme as the floor. And we're going to recolor some of the plaster pieces as well. So we're going to have like an entrance for our zookeepers at the front, and we're going to have an entrance to the side of the front and to the kind of like, not the rear, but to the side of the building for our Greater Flamingos to get in and out of this hard shelter building. Now this is a very unique design, and I've actually seen this design once again on I think it was a Planet Zoo, some kind of Planet Zoo Facebook page. Someone posted it. It was AI generated, and I thought that kind of design would work perfect in this modern environment, what I've got going on in Newtropic Zoo. And you can see me just trying to kind of play around with different ideas here as well. Even though I've got a kind of like a reference image to go by, we want to add our own twist, well, my own twist to this habitat as well. We're going to use a lot of the conservation pieces, a lot of plaster, and a lot of kind of like modern theming, you know. I really love how the front of this has actually come out looking. The white stuff that you can see are just the building pieces. No, they're not the building pieces. That was a lie. They're not the building pieces. They're in fact the plaster pieces, the smaller plaster pieces off the grid ones. And we just kind of made like a circular arch as an entranceway to where the zookeepers will come in and out. Now, I often see a lot of images and thinking, right, that needs to go in my zoo. And a lot of people do ask me, where do I get my inspiration from? And honestly, like, it differs so much. I might see something on a Planet Zoo Facebook page like I have done in this one, and like I said, the build was AI generated, and I thought I can recreate that in Planet Zoo, so I went ahead and did. That's in this occasion. Sometimes I totally just wing it, and I don't have no reference image. I have nothing what inspires me. I kind of just jump in Planet Zoo and come up with my own ideas right there on the spot. That is getting more difficult though. I am kind of getting, you know, like writers get writer's block, I'm kind of getting builder's block. Content creators, Planet Zoo builders block. Does that make even sense? Does that make even sense? That makes sense even. Can't talk properly today. I've had too much caffeine for my liking today. I'm trying to, I don't know about you if you drink coffee. Let me in fact, let me know in the comment section if you drink coffee, because I think I've got some kind of unhealthy addiction to caffeine right now. I started drinking 1 cup a day a couple of years ago, and now I'm on 4 or 5 cups a day. I don't know if that's healthy. But yeah, let me know. Are you a coffee drinker? Do you drink as much coffee as me? Am I drinking too much coffee? That might be what it is. Right, just the finishing touches now. So on the right hand side, we're going to add a little custom made planter. We always got to think about foliage. Foliage is king in Planet Zoo. And you would have said I've added a little trim all around the edge of the water as well, which connects to this building. It's kind of like a little moat, isn't it? That's how I kind of would describe it. This is going to be accessible to the Greater Flamingos, obviously. Spoiler alert, the Greater Flamingos are very happy in this habitat. They've got everything they need, which is a bonus. They have got enough space, and they cannot escape past that moated area, which is also brilliant, even though I am playing in sandbox mode. We do want to make sure that the game elements, what count, you know, animals escaping and staying alive, we do actually have them on even in sandbox mode to make sure we're getting the best game experience. And the animals are well looked after, of course. And just finishing touching to this left hand side, moving everything over, making sure everything is in neat. My perfectionist side is coming out a little bit. I nearly said my OCD side, but I've really got to stop saying that, because it is actually a medical condition, OCD, and I don't want to insult anyone who has OCD because I've not got it. I'm just a bit of a perfectionist, and I like things what look symmetrical. Right, this roof, well, this archway first. This is where our animals are going to be able to come in and out of the hard shelter. So it's time to just kind of like very basically add kind of like a little doorway here. And I always say, work smart, not hard. If you can do something what still looks amazing but is going to save you so much time, then do it. Instead of me building a custom archway there, I just kind of added these flat these flat, not conservation pieces, well, they're called plaster pieces. That's the one. Like I said, too much caffeine today, so I am blabbering on. By the way, this is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe episode 12, maybe even episode 13 of Newtropic Zoo now. And even though I am absolutely loving, and I mean loving building it, I'm kind of getting a little bit stuck for ideas, and I think I've only got about 5 or 6 other animals which are from the biome, you know, are from the grasslands of Africa. And once we've done that, we have completed. We just got to do loads of bits and bobs. I'm going to change things. I'm going to mix things up a little bit, fill some gaps. We need to add kind of like an outing area to make it look like more like a natural environment. We need to extend the road at the front of where the entrance is. But it would be interesting to know if you would want videos out of that, because I'm struggling to see myself where I get enough content for a video of me extending roads and changing roofs on hard shelter buildings. I don't know if something, you know, kind of like a park overall, isn't it? Like going back and filling in gaps and stuff like that. Would that be an interesting video? I just don't see personally if people would be interested in that, and if they would, how that kind of like video would entail and plan out. Would it be a speed build? I have contemplated live streaming on YouTube. I used to live stream on Twitch. I am contemplating live streaming on YouTube. Let me know, would you watch it? Would you come along? Would you like to watch me build live and have a little chat with me? I don't know, but it is something I am contemplating and thinking about a lot, especially with the Christmas period being off. I'm going to be off my normal full-time job. I'm going to have some time off over Christmas period. So I am thinking about streaming a couple of episodes of Newtropic Zoo maybe, and just doing those little bits while streaming, so I can also have a chat with you guys. That'll be quite interesting, and quite interesting to see who turns up and who I end up having a chat with. So if that maybe is something you'd like to see, hit that like button of this video. The more likes I get, the more chance I'll probably end up live streaming on YouTube. I'm not going to go back to Twitch. I do want to try to live stream on YouTube if I do decide to live stream. Alright, just finishing off this front bit now. Watch, this front bit is good. It's good and is all in place. That's like the high detailed part, isn't it, this front part? So it's just about finishing off the rest of the build with the plaster pieces and making sure it's all enclosed in. Once it was enclosed in, you can see that's how the hard shelter came out looking. I'll show you that little bit on the right hand side in a second. But you can see I've added foliage, very basic foliage. That's why I didn't record me doing it. A little bit of rock work. Got those palm trees going on, that tropical look. But this on the right hand side here is going to be the entrance to this facility. If you don't know what this is, it basically is the bubble, the viewing domes, will allow your guests to go in those domes, what you can see in the actual habitat itself. On the other side of this outbuilding, you can see this is where our habitat gate will be, and this is where our indoor kind of like backstage area will be, and obviously where the animals will get dropped off by our zookeepers. They also got this little exit as well, so they can, and a ramp so they can get into the water. And it was just a matter of fact of adding little bits and bobs now and little finishing touches, including, well, I looked at this and thought it don't really stand out, this kind of like catchment net. Have I just made that up? It's kind of a net, isn't it, what catches like fallen leaves. It stops your guests falling into the habitat as well, and stops the greater flamingos from flying out. It's kind of like an extra secure barrier for the habitat. You see these in zoos a lot. If you've been to any zoo, you've probably seen them. So it's just a matter of like adding a trim to that and making everything just stand out a little bit more, and adding those little bit of details what will make the difference when they all come together. So I'm just going to use the conservation piece again, recolor it to black so it looks like metal, and get all these around the edge. And with that little trim added to the mesh pieces around the edge, it really hasn't made a difference. We're going to take you on a detailed look here now, kind of like a final look. You'll see our greater flamingos are in. They've got everything they need. They're very happy. They can't escape, blah, 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 all that rest of the stuff. Our guests are now coming to view our greater flamingos. The only thing I forgot was to add some education points. I don't know why. I won't record myself doing that. I'm just going to add a couple of screens and a couple of speakers just to give that educational vibe. You can see we've got one. Yeah, there's people going in it right now. Great view of that rock, mate. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that great flamingo's over here. I've got 2 great flamingos in here at the moment. I am going to be adding more. You can see one just on the ramp about to enter the water, and I guess I've got a good view there actually. But yeah, this is it. This is complete. I'll just take you inside, and I've just added a very basic backstage area here. I didn't want to go over the top. There was just no need. A little grid with some like kind of like spilt water and a hose pipe and everything they would need, really. It's all open. You can have greater flamingos as a walk-through habitat. So I just felt there was no, like, for safety reasons, no way, not no way, but there was no point of closing it off. These are absolutely beautiful animals, by the way. Just look how majestic they are. They are absolutely beautiful, aren't they? I love it when they stand up on one leg. Makes me laugh. So yeah, we've got the bubbles. The guests can go into the bubble through here, like I've just shown previously, and they will come up here, like you can see, just like that. And it's the first viewing dome. I'll zoom out. I've got no other viewing domes in Newtropic Zoo, so this is the first habitat with the first viewing domes in. I'm really happy how this come out looking. I mean, look at this building. It's so modern, it's so good, and it's so unique as well. I'm really happy with this kind of like outbuilding I created. By the way, these tile it's a custom wall. These are just kind of art shapes, what are like maneuvered to look like tiles on the back of a black plaster wall. Newtropic Zoo is really coming together now, and I'm excited to bring you the next episode. I'm not sure what I'm going to build yet, but stay tuned to find out. And with our greater flamingos in and our greater flamingo habitat created, that concludes the end of this video. If you're new around here, feel free to subscribe. Please hit that like button if you're subscribed or not subscribed, and I will catch you in the next episode of Newtropic Zoo.